The goal of Flashlight is to fill out a rectangular grid with O's and X's such that all the O's form a single group and all the X's form a single group and are connected with one another. And also, each 2 by 2 area, um, the same letters are not allowed. So I cannot have a 2 by 2 rectangular grid with just O's or just X's. So we're given a starting point with some O's and some X's. So how can I fill this out here? Well, I know for a start, let's say if I wanted to start with this grid right here, I can fill this with either an X or an O. If I do fill this out with, say, for example, an X, that would mean that this cell right here would have to be an O, because if you're looking at each 2 by 2 grid, you cannot have an X here. It can only be an O, because um, in each 2 by 2 area, the same letter is not allowed. So let's say here, for example, I could also fill this out with a O, because if I fill this out with an X, now this O is isolated by itself, and that cannot be the case. It has to, all the O's and X's have to be connected um, in a single group. So this would have to be an O. Same thing with this. This would have to be an O, and then this would have to be an O. So now these O's right here, you see, are connected with one another. And so far, all the X's are connected with one another. So far, so good. I can fill this out with either an O or an X. So let's say um, here, I would imagine you'd still have to fill this out with an O, because if I were to fill this out with an X, then all the rest of the grid here would have to be an X, and that just can't be the case based on the rules of Flashlight. So this would have to be an O. Um, this would probably have to be an O as well, because in this 2 by 2 grid, I can't have an X here, right? So this would have to be an O. And then this right here would have to be, it can be, let's say here, the X, I can fill out an X here, and I can fill out an X here. But here I would have to, if I put an X here, that means I would have to put an O here, because if I were to put an X here, this O would be isolated by itself. So if I put an O here, so now I filled out this grid right here. So let's just check to see that all the O's, they form one continuous path, right? Same thing with the X's, right? And if I look at each 2 by 2 grid, they are not of the same letters, right? It's like this 2 by 2 grid here, not all of them are the same letters. Same with this 2 by 2 grid, 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 and this 2 by 2 grid. So this is the very simplest version of Flashlight, because this is only a 4 by 4 grid. So it could potentially have more than one possible solution for this, but I'm just showing you right now the concept of how to play Flashlight. So this is how you would play. You just fill the grid out with O's and X's based on the rules here on the right hand side. So if you have any comments or questions, be sure to leave it down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you and have a great day.